Hey YouTube, I got another video coaching review for you. This time it's a Barebow shooter. Thank you to Bastian for letting me use this for content on my channel. It's much appreciated, especially because I've got so much going on right now. I've got lots of little things going on that are needing to be finished up before I can announce them. But stay tuned for some things that will be coming out that I'm super excited about, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time to get those things ready. So you may see that the content on the channel may be a little bit slower, a little bit easier for me to produce because I really need to spend a little bit of time outside of content production. So anyway, all that aside, thank you very much to Bastian for letting me use his video coaching review. And if you're unfamiliar with what I do, I basically sit down in front of my computer and give some feedback and coach over the internet like this after somebody sends me a video. And if you're interested in learning more about that, I will have links in the description below and a card at the top up there for you to check out. See my website, jkaminski.com, in case you're interested in your own video coaching review. Anyway, after the intro, we'll get right into Bastian's video coaching review. Thanks again. Hi there, Bastian. Thank you for submitting a video coaching review. It's much appreciated. I will get right into reviewing your video and your email. So no problem on the bad English. I do my best to understand as best as possible. Archery is archery, so I understand most of the stuff people say, so no problem. If I have anything that I'm saying that doesn't make sense to you, please reply to this email and let me know so I can explain more in depth for you. Your archery experience is rather short. You started last summer and you shoot barebow. You like shooting barebow, and your first competition you shot 20 to 50 meters, which is fun. You're looking for shooting analysis and pointing out the mistakes that you make, sure. And so you can get more stable and be more precise. Perfect. So your scoring averages are quite good, actually. 50 meters, 280. That's pretty good. So that's excellent. So problems that you're recognizing so far about yourself is that you have arrows that hit very far left. You think maybe your back tension isn't good enough, and your hold is a little long, and you can't adjust it yourself. Okay, I'll look for that. And then sometimes you have single arrows that hit in the blue or even the black and you're not sure why. That's normal, unfortunately. And the reason that I say that's normal is because especially somebody who has only been shooting for only a year, there will be things that happen that you don't recognize was a problem. And with experience, you'll be able to recognize that to the point of, like, for example, myself, when I immediately let go of an arrow, I can tell you at 70 meters within a circle this big where the arrow is going. High left, low right, 6, 5, 4, 3, 10, I don't know. I can tell you immediately when I let go before the arrow hits the target because I know my feeling. And only with time and experience and arrows will you develop that. So you have to put in your time to get to that point. So you're aiming for a long time and you feel well with it, but should you work on your shortening the aiming time? I'll look at that and let you know. When you try to reach your anchor, you overdraw and then come back in because of where you anchor. You're having trouble finding it consistently if you don't do that. So I'll look at your anchor and see if I can help you there too. And yeah, so we'll get right into it. So these are the videos you first sent to me. We can check these out first. So next time when you send this, if you could, send them in normal speed. I don't need high speed, just normal recording speed is fine, because then now it's a little difficult for me to recognize the timing because I can't adjust the time here. Maybe I will be able to speed it up, potentially. Yeah, maybe this will work. Still a little slow. Sorry, I've not done this before, but we'll try it. Not quite the same, but it'll still get the point across, and maybe the other videos aren't slow like this. I do like your end anchor position though. String on the tip of your nose. The anchor is very similar to mine, it looks like. The position, your draw length looks good. You know, your head is nice over your body, which is very, very good. Let me slow this back down so I can playback speed normal. Okay. Let's see how the shot breaks when you let it go. Not too bad. We'll look at the other videos and make some more determinations. Oh, good. On this one, I can adjust the sliding speed down here. The other one, I couldn't for some reason. Your bow hand position is perfect. Nothing to change there. It's in a very good place. And it does not move at all when you let go, which is very good. Most people will move that. There's maybe a little bit of grabbing of the bow. I'll zoom this in so hopefully you can see it better. If you watch the tip of your finger, this finger, and use this tree, this little stick, as a reference, as I go forward, right before the arrow leaves. So the arrow hasn't moved forward yet, but see how the finger is touching this tree? But forward, 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 forward. As the arrow is coming out, see that finger starts to squeeze a little, and then it moves back, and you're fully squeezing. So try to make sure you don't do any changing at all on the hand. Push like you had no hand, like you had a stump. Right here was cut. And push because the bone goes through the arm into the wrist and into the hand right here, right where that circle, right there. That's what you want to push with as you do, but only push like there was no hand, because then this can't happen. It's not a big problem. This is such a small thing, and it's really not even actually an issue. But, you know, seeing how you gave me a good video of up close, I could see it, so that way I could say something about it. And the bow jumps out nice and straight. Yeah, it looks good. So the bow reaction, what you're doing on the bow side is very good. I don't see any problems there at all. We'll look at it from this angle. Oops. I mean, your overall positioning, and once you get to full draw, the point as you're starting to execute, it stays still and it moves back slightly, which is good. You don't collapse. You keep it going, which is excellent. Most people will lose that, you know, a lot more so. So you're doing your job on the strength portion at least. So we'll see what we can do potentially with the anchor positioning, if we can do anything. Let me speed this up. So something that might help, instead of, your head doesn't move much, which is okay. I think it might be something for you to try. So right now you keep your head still and you draw, and then you move, you have that overdraw, and then you kind of settle into the anchor like that. It's not perfect, my showing of you, but it's essentially what happens. You draw back and then you kind of settle into it, which is good. The head doesn't move. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. What I have found for me is I need to draw the bow and lock into position. But because of my Barebow anchored, similar to yours, it's a little difficult to keep it and find the anchor, of course, just like you are. So I have like a hybrid of where I lock into position and I move my head just a tiny amount to my hand as my hand is moving up to my head. And I found I can keep my draw length that way. But if I keep my head still like I do on recurve where I come into anchor, that's easy to not move my head, and it's also easy to not lose. But for Barebow, to keep my head still, to come into anchor, I notice very similar to you that I need to play with my draw length. So maybe if you watch some of my Barebow videos, the one where I talk about my anchor, I explain my anchor, and also in the Barebow form series talking about anchor, I draw and I hit maximum draw length. So if this is rest and this is maximum draw length, I go all the way to almost maximum draw length, and then I keep it, and then that way I just maintain my tension and I can shoot my shot well. Whereas what you're doing, and most people do, is they will overdraw to come back to here and then have to restart. You're strong enough, so you are doing well there. Maybe not at a tournament, I'm not sure. It depends on many different factors, of course. But trying to do more of keeping it as opposed to losing it, you don't have this back and forth, and it can cause problems, that back and forth, if you're not very, very careful or consistent. If you do at least want to be consistent and you're okay with leaving it that way, make sure you have a mental process of feeling and the overall sequence of what you need to do. The one video where it was on the left side, so I could see your arrow on the shelf, not from the front of you, but from behind you, I could see that you overdrawed to relax, but then right before you shot, I could see the point moving back again into a position to where you probably were nice and strong, which is good. I'm glad you do that. But you need to make sure you do that every single time, especially under pressure, especially at a tournament, especially in match play, anything like that. It is critical to do that for sure. So if you stay with that method, at least make sure you know how to do it and you can replicate it in your sleep because you're so confident and comfortable with doing that. That will be okay. I don't see a problem with that. But maybe play around with drawing to full draw and then maybe slight moving the hand and slight moving the head to make it so you can keep this without losing it. That would be my hope. Your timing is good. You come to full draw. You're not holding for very long, which is good. The timing itself, it looks great. It looks just fine. There's a little bit of head movement after the shot. Oh, sorry, I didn't show you the video. My mistake. The head movement after the shot is a little much. There's some sort of tension somewhere. I think maybe the head position is not comfortable for you at full draw or natural, and maybe the head playing with it, putting it in the position to be, might help potentially. You do have a very good tight anchor. I can see the mark from your arm and your hand there. Perfect. So very good tight anchor. That's a good thing. But what I'm talking about is, see how the head is nice and still here, but as the shot breaks, watch the head. It's starting to turn to the left. Now it moves forward, but it's way after the shot is broken. It's not bad, but it is something that you can try to be more neutral with the head and keep it still. If you watch the best shooters in the world, even from here, their head never moves throughout the whole shot. Yes, in Barebow, I'm telling you to potentially move your head into anchor, but after that point, try to keep the head still without moving forward. I'm over-exaggerating. You're not moving that much. I'm not sure entirely why it's happening, but it might be something that you want to try to analyze to figure out. Is it coming from maybe too much pushing, not enough pulling? Is it coming from a head position that's uncomfortable and you're having to force it once you're at full draw? I don't think that's the problem. Maybe you're looking to see where the arrow went on the target. I don't know, but really try to make sure you keep your head still until you hear the arrow hit the target and then look. Because you may get into the habit of, at a tournament, to be so excited to see where it's going that you're moving the head before you even let go of the string. I'm not saying you are peeking to see the arrow, but that might be the cause of it. So, pay attention to that. Overall, that was just a picture of the release and follow through. We need to look at that some more anyway. I mean, like I said, the positioning is good. You're standing nice and straight. Most people who haven't been shooting for this long usually move a lot more. So something that I think would immediately help you is, so you're setting your crawl. You're in this forward position that you aren't normally in when you are at full draw, right? So you have this forward lean and the shoulders are obviously unlevel. Before you lift the bow, you should, as I'm here and I set my hook and grip in my crawl, even if I'm leaning forward like this, I should then look up at the target, take a breath, and then shoot my shot. I will think about what I'm doing too. So I don't just go from here to then do this. I start here, I will look up, I think about how my shot feels, what I'm going to do, and then I do it. And I shoot my shot, and I start over, and I go down, and then go through the shot, right? What's happening with you is you're here, and before you look up, you're starting to already lift the bow, and so your body is already moving, and it continually moves. And the reason that this is not a good idea is as you get more and more proficient and more experienced, you'll notice more like attention to detail. And the attention to detail is what takes you from 280 to 290 to 300 to so on, right? At 50 meters. So the reason that I want you to go from here to here and then lift the bow is because if the head is moving neurologically, it will not notice when certain things are changed, where your elbow or your shoulder maybe is too high, maybe you've changed your finger position, maybe you changed your grip position, but your head moving is the number one thing your body and your brain will focus on, because this controls everything. So this is number one. So if this is moving as you're doing this, you'll not notice when this is this way or slight changes from shot to shot. So if you start here and then go, you'll give yourself a better chance to see when mistakes are made or potential changes. You see how you lift and look all at the same time. As you draw, you change and move the head position, probably because the head wasn't in the right spot before you lifted the bow, and so you didn't recognize that it was not in the ideal position by the time you came to full draw or near it. So instead of just going from here to lifting the bow right away, stand up, look at the target, take a breath to this position with your body, but your bow down at rest position. Not necessarily so far down. You will have to lift the bow up a little bit and maybe put the limb on your inside of your leg or touching your leg on the left side, so it just kind of sits there comfortably out of the way as you go to lift the bow into the shot. But the position is excellent. End position is excellent. Your follow through is quite good. Maybe one more thing to potentially play with is this pinky here, the pinky finger, because as you watch, the shot breaks. You see the pinky moving forward as you're letting go. And then there's no place for it to be. It's just kind of sitting there. You can use the pinky as an extra reference if you have the pinky curled in enough like this. You know, your thumb is a good anchor position on the face for sure, but the pinky, you can curl the pinky in and maybe touch your face in an extra place for an extra anchor reference, or touch the pinky to the tip of your thumb like this. This just gives you a level of consistency to put it in the same place. Because if one shot you're here, one shot you're here, one shot you're here, or whatever, as this changes positions from shot to shot, so does the tension in your hand, And when you have tension change, it can affect the arrow tune, the arrow impact, and so on. So a place that you can consistently put the pinky might be a good idea too. Something very simple, very small, but as you can see, the hand just doesn't feel right. It looks like you're looking for something. So keeping that pinky touching the thumb, it gives you a much more comfortable, for lack of better terms, feeling when you shoot the shot, where you just feel like more put together when you release. I don't think I showed you again, my mistake. As the shot breaks, you can just tell it looks uncomfortable, for lack of better terms there. Your alignment is excellent. Nothing needed to change there. Maybe you could benefit from a little bit of more core and hip engagement. It looks pretty good though. I don't think it would just be, I think if you added the core and hip stability to your system as you go from here to here, tighten, hold, and stabilize, and then shoot your shot. But as you're moving, the hips could be moving inconsistently. So try to set those first before you raise the bow. Yeah, I mean, your overall form itself, like I said, it's pretty good, especially for how long you've been shooting. Yeah, the way the elbow moves, the direction it moves, the draw elbow, it looks real good. You might have a little bit of a cant to the left, angling the bow. The other side is much stronger. Vertical is ideal. If you will shoot with an angle, always to the right. To the left is weak. It's a weak position. You're a strong person, so there's no clear result of a weak bow arm because you're overall just strong. But tendency is to have it this way as weak, and then you'll hit your arm, hit your chest, things like that, and that will make your arrows go very far left. I'm pretty sure you said in your email that you hit very far to the left. So I would assume the left shots are from when you are potentially too weak in the shot itself, and you're not necessarily aggressive enough in the actual finish position that you want to be in, for lack of better terms. So I hope that makes some sort of a little bit of a sense to help analyze why you hit to the left. Canting to the left will make you go to the left, so maybe you cant more on some shots than others, but also that weak position, if you hit your arm or hit your shirt, hit your chest, that will make it go even further to the left. In addition to the core and the hips engagement, you might want to drop the chest a little bit more. You can go to my Barebow form series video, set, position, stance, and posture. It's going to talk about how to tuck the hips, engage the core, and keep the chest down so you don't have this canting going on. I would imagine that would help eliminate that a lot. Nice and stable. You maybe collapsed a little bit at the very, very end on that one. Let's see how this next one looks. Yeah, I don't know if this is a tournament or it's a different day for sure because you have different clothes on. So I would work on making sure you're not too careful in a competition. Your timing in the other videos were excellent, very consistent, and very good from shot to shot. This one you have a tendency to hold, and potentially be too precise with what you're doing. There's no need to be so careful. I can tell you for sure it is much better to be more confident and more strong in your actual shooting. It makes a much bigger difference in the long run as far as how successful you can be. So, like I said, the arrows hitting far to the left is definitely from the canting Not necessarily for the back tension. I really don't think it's that. I just think that it's probably from the canting. It'd be my guess. Now, the other arrows going all over the place is more time, more shooting. You'll eventually get there. And when you're aiming for a long time, you feel like it's okay. But as I said, you should probably shorten that. Be more comfortable, be more confident. Don't be too careful. Don't aim too much. Don't take too much time. Otherwise, it just gets worse. And there's really no point. But otherwise, everything else looks good. Potentially playing with the anchor and the head moving to try to eliminate the so far of an overdraw maybe is a good idea if you can. Trying to make sure you're pushing with this part of your hand as if you had no hand to the target is going to be really helpful as well. And a few of the other things that I outlined. But overall, like I said, for only really shooting a year, I think that's what you said. Yeah. At least you shot this year for the first time in competitions. So far it's great. I just think that you could spend a little bit more time to settle and then shoot, because you'll be a lot more consistent in the long run and you'll recognize when things are wrong, at least a lot easier that way. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that helps and gives you some guidance. If you have any questions, please just email me. I understand there's a language barrier, and I'll do my best to explain more if I can. If you have trouble finding those videos, please let me know, and I'll send you the links too. So anyhow, thank you again for submitting a video coaching review, and good luck.
Yeah.